That's the cosmic joke. Thinking that somehow you can become enlightened or awakened as the person somewhere down the road in the future when you feel ready or evolved enough or more disciplined. Enlightenment does not happen to a person. It's not personal. It's very impersonal. A person does not become awakened. You awake from the person, but you are not the person. Awakening happens when the person is dropped. Gaining enlightenment in some time-bound future presupposes the absolute reality of a future that exists in linear time out there, that somehow you as a personal I can progress into. But you are pure awareness itself. And you can never be truly disconnected from the absolute reality of who and what you already are. It's impossible to separate air from the sky, to separate wetness from the ocean. It's very useless struggling to attain certain methods, techniques, or strategies that eventually you, as the separate sense of self, will be able to have fulfillment or a happy ending to your story. The nature of the one life is to pretend. Till the point comes where it forgets that it pretends. So this is what role that must be played and must be taken into account. Everything that you experience, everything that you see, are all ambiguous, imagined, subjective distinctions. All manifesting from one fundamental reality. And you have a choice to anchor yourself to pure potential, your true center. It is important to understand the nature of the game that you have designed. The game is for you to see yourself by recognizing what you are not, which is a mental construct. The ego is your pseudo-reflection. It's your self-image. It's what creates a limited self. But it is not your true, infinite self. This is characterized by the social masks you wear, the images you uphold, the judgments, past experiences, fears, desires. All of these things create a little me. When you realize that, then the game of hide and seek is set into motion. And now you have to wake up from being identified with your imagined self, which is the sufferer. And your job now in this hide and seek game is to locate and identify the virus embedded in your consciousness. Recognizing that it is not your true self will be able to diffuse it. The personal imagined self is a disturbance of the mind. Everything is there to move you out of your sacred space of beingness. But when you look through self-inquiry, deep introspection, you realize that it cannot be found because it never existed. And this will help to reveal a deeper underlying state within your being. When you recognize that all that you believed or mistaken yourself to be is thought created. The identity is nullified and it collapses, and you take back your power, recognizing that this is just your projection, like everything else that you see in the world. When you recognize yourself as awareness, this will be the remedy for your headache or your mind grain, and you can go beyond it. What are you going to redirect your attention to? Are you going to focus your attention back to the self, back to awareness, or are you going to be still transfixed on the perceivables that appear to be out there apart from you? The nature of reality is observer dependent. Without the observer, which is the subtle underlying essence of all things, there could be no reality. You're not a noun, you're not a thing that can be searched for. There is nowhere to go but here now. This is what you have to move into the direction of. Whether you consider yourself black, white, male, female, Democrat, Republican, religious, atheist, spiritual, it is safe to say that the branches of the sacred tree of life had got lost in the trivial details and have forgotten its roots. Mindfulness is simply bringing your lost, wandering mind back home into the timeless present. You cannot live in awareness and create suffering for yourself. If you want to go beyond personal suffering, you have to let go of the sufferer. When your separate sense of self disappears, God appears. It is all a play of consciousness. Heroes, villains, sages, victims, all of it is the divine. The self is only pretending that it's not the self. It is all you. Pure subjectivity.